All right. This is not an article. I'm just straight up pulling up eBay.
These look like really good deals.
I know. So what I did was I did a search new for Nintendo Switch OLED from 500 to 2000. And look how many pages, look how many results. This is insane, man.
Wow.
Now, some people might say in the grand scheme of the total, it's not much, but you have to keep in mind a lot of these people selling on here have multiple pre-orders.
Well, it's close to double. I mean,
Yeah,
the
they're just
base the
selling
base
one
model
at a
is
time.
350.
Y-
Yeah.
So,
A lot of these are confirmed pre-orders.
yeah. So, this is what I want to talk about because this is out of hand. Look, I want to say that I put out a video. You weren't on the show that week about Metroid Dread scalping.
Why you gotta rub it in my face, man?
I know. And in the video, I had a take that a lot of people didn't agree with. I blamed Nintendo. And I want to iterate why I blame Nintendo because at the time I didn't do a good job of explaining it and a lot of people disagreed, which I think is fine. But I think blaming
For context, what did you say initially, or is it just base?
Oh,
How you
I
just blame
said
Nintendo?
the headline was Nintendo enables scalpers. Something to that effect.
And what did people that were contrary to your opinion say?
They were like, "No, Geo, it's the retailers. It's all the retailers. It's their fault."
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I wanna point out something because blaming the retailer is a low hanging fruit, right? Because the retailer's selling it, right?
Yes.
But and look, the retailers they have to find a way to deal with scalpers, right? That's just inevitable. They have to find a way. But the retailers are not the ones who make the product. They're not the ones who decide where the product is sold, and they're not the ones who decide how the product is sold or how many are sold. That is on Nintendo at the end of the day. They make all the decisions. And that's what I was trying to point out. If Nintendo knew a way to protect their most loyal customers from scalpers, at the end of the day, they're the only ones who can enact that, not the retailers, because the retailers are all different companies. They're not going to have a unified front. Nintendo has to make this choice. So that's what I was saying. Yes, retailers do have some blame, but Nintendo makes the choice. And that's what I was trying to point out. And as you can see here clearly, Nintendo is not doing enough to stop scalpers. They're just outsourcing it to retailers and just saying, "Look, good luck," you know. And yeah, that's my take on it. I mean, I don't know if you agree or not. I mean, what do you think?
Well, if anything, I want to pose a question to you. To be
Hmm.
honest, what do you think about how Valve handled selling the Steam Deck?
You know
Because
what?
there was no retailer, there was no third party, if you will.
Yeah.
It was just them, and they attempted to curb uh, selling to scalpers by stem deck, uh, to selling to scalpers by what's it called? Having a account gate, if you will.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
needed to have made a purchase. But here's the thing: the account thing, they limited it to creating an account from June 2021, which was last month.
Exactly. Which means that if you were a scalper, you couldn't just go out, create an account, and order one.
Yeah,
Which,
no, which I get, but also at the same time, scalpers, I'd like to think, are people that play games, or that might play games, if
mhm.
you will, and would probably have an account that's like, older than a month. I
Yes.
I I I
Yeah.
just I just think it was like
It's a bare
it's a bare
minimum.
minimum. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
So
okay.
so like the Steam Deck also has, as you can see right here, a lot of 77 results versus
Exactly. That's
790.
the difference. That is the difference. So, if you look here, there's only 77 compared to. Now, granted, there was probably a lot more OLED models, but I mean, come on, the bare minimum
Hmm.
that Valve did to curb scalpers
Yes.
obviously had a drastic effect. There's only 77 on eBay. So
Interesting.
just that little minimum that they did made a big impact. So yeah, I think Nintendo needs to like take notice that their fans are upset at this scalping and they want them to help them, you know? So that's all I'm trying to point out, you know?
I
That's
mean,
what I'm trying to point
I
out.
agree with you to a point, especially in terms of stock. A
Yeah.
good example is literally any kind of amiibo that people want. Uh, the Monster Hunter amiibos that recently came out for Rise and Stories 2
Hmm.
are selling for stupid prices because you can't get them, and
Yeah.
scalpers straight up just took them.
Yeah.
The same thing with the new Zelda amiibo, the
Hmm.
Lost Wing.
Hmm.
Like you can't find it. Funny enough, it is shipping late, but
Yeah.
still, um, when it comes to these items and being sold,
Hmm.
like the stock is definitely plays a figure into it, and that's directly on Nintendo.
Hmm.
But I think you stated not too long ago, I think it was a few episodes back, and by a few episodes back, it was probably like last year.
Yeah.
Something about the digital security of trying to curb scalping
Hmm.
and like making sure that bots aren't getting through and making purchases.
Yeah.
You've spoken about that before. Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that is definitely on the retailer
Yes. Yeah.
because of these digital storefronts. They're
Yeah.
controlled by them, not Nintendo.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying part of the blame is on the retailers, right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's still Nintendo who can make these decisions.
Yeah.
It's not the retailer. So I think you should always blame your first like when the blame game comes, you're the first person you should look to is the one making all the decisions. And that is clearly Nintendo. So why would it help to just blame the retailers and just ignore like yeah, it's not Nintendo's. No, Nintendo makes all the choices. Like you got to realize that. Like you got to realize Nintendo's making all the choices.
But we do need better security in these digital
Yes.
storefronts.
Yeah. And that's something they're going to have to figure out because it's not just Nintendo, it's everything is getting scalped these days, you
Yeah.
know?
I tried to order chicken
PS5,
nuggets.
Xbox. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Um yeah. So, yeah. Retailers, step up your anti-bot game, but Nintendo, you know, look at the situation and make some better decisions, please. Because people are getting very frustrated. I mean, I see it. I see it in the comments all the time,
Yes.
you know? So they definitely need to do something.